Hi everyone, this is a video to talk about how to do your evaluation task. First of all, you're going to show your understanding of the learning intention using division problems involving fractions and sharing evenly, ending with a fractional number as the answer. So you're to teach someone else how to solve this problem in this evaluation project. When creating this video, there are a few considerations I'd like you to process. First consideration is, what numbers would you choose in your problem to end with a fractional answer? So how many people would you need to have, and how many items do you need to share? Next thing to think about is, what would your context be? So consider you will need to be able to share your item. It needs to be cut or divided, and so how would you do this? What would you use? The next thing you'll need to think about is, who am I making this video for? Who is my audience? What do I know about them? What is their learning like? And what will I need to consider when making my video? You also need to be thinking about what you will show them within your video and what you're going to ask them, and what order will you be putting these things in. Another thing to think about is, how will I film this? What am I going to use and how am I going to do this? There is a lot to think about, so I've created a plan and I've shared this with you in your Google Classroom. And within this plan there's a template that you will need to fill out with steps to follow through. Within it you'll be filling in who your audience is, their learning intention, the problem that you will be posing, the equipment that you need. Also, there will be filming steps to consider, which I'll go through next. So the filming steps we'll look at in a second, but what you will need is you'll need an iPad. You can use the class iPad or you can use your own iPad. And you also need to consider having a tripod so that it can sit still when you're filming, or videoing with a buddy if you are intending to create this with a buddy. The first option is the drawing and writing on a whiteboard filming option that the next video will explain. Another process you could use is the whiteboard and videoing as you're writing and drawing with the whiteboard. Now, I don't have a whiteboard with me because I'm working from home, but I do have a piece of paper and a felt, and that also works just as effective. The only trouble is I can't rub out as clearly and as often on the piece of paper as I would like to, so a whiteboard may actually be better. Here's an example of how you could do that using the same story that I was using before, and it could be again setting up so that you can see that it fits within your video frame, having 3 people and 4 chocolate cakes. I am going to share my 4 chocolate cakes with 3 people. There is various ways you could do this. I'm not going to say them all. You could use your creative imagination to how you could do this. But you could blend in some pictures with some drawing and some writing, having a combination of both. The next option is using cutout paper props to use when talking, which the next video explains. This is an example of using the picture prompts while acting at the same time. So you could have your characters or whatever it is that you need as your pictures that you'll use through your talking. So in this situation, I could be introducing the problem and saying, we have 3 children that we're going to share 4 chocolate cakes with. In this process, you need to make sure that your tripod is set up so that when you put your pictures down, you know they're going to fit into the frame of the image. This is one process that you could use with videoing. The last option is using real materials. Now remember, you can use a combination of all of these options, which the videos have shown, but there's 3 separate options that I've clearly outlined, and you can decide how you would like to do this. The last option is actually using real life products. Now, I'm not going to suggest that you have to bring cakes along to school in order to do this, but you may have resources that you want to use that are real life. I just happen to have some cakes that I'm going to use, but I don't have 4. You could use water in glasses, you could use Play-Doh, just basically a real product you could use for this last technique. And so here's an example that I could do here where I talk and say I'm going to share, but this time, as I've only got 2 cakes, I'm going to use just 2 and change my problem and say I have 2 cakes that I need to share with 3 people. So in this technique, you're using real life things. What you do need to do though is you need to think about, if you're using a real life product, can it be cut? Can it be shared? So when choosing, think about those considerations. I'm going to give you a reminder of a few handy tricks to remember. Remember, you need to plan what you say before you film. Use a tripod or a class buddy if you're working together to keep filming nice and still. If creating with a buddy, take turns. I want to see that you both understand the learning intention and are both involved in the task. Clarity is essential when you're videoing. Clarity with the visual and the auditory. Not speaking too fast, and the shot is in focus and clear view. Lastly, think about your learner. Think about what they need to know, and are you getting that message across? Once you've finished videoing, you need to upload your videos into iMovie, which we've done a few times and I know you know how to do this. Once you've finished crafting in iMovie, then upload onto our class YouTube account. From here, you'll be able to upload your YouTube video into the class Edpuzzle task that I've set up for you. In here, you are to add the interactive questions that you would like to ask your audience and any other interactions that you would like to put into it. Once you have completed your Edpuzzle video, I can check that, and then you will upload this onto Seesaw account where you will share this with your audience member to participate in. After your audience member has participated in your video and used the information to help them, you're going to get some feedback from them to see how they found it, what they learned and what they found tricky or didn't quite work. So once you have your feedback from your buddy, then you're going to share your findings on Seesaw again as a voice recording at the bottom of your Seesaw link, and add any further reflections and evaluations that you gathered from this experience and any considerings or strengths and learnings that you would think about for the future. Well done on your completed task.